I went to the gym this morning and there was a young lady in there. Nah, I know. Don't get carried away. Let me just tell the story first. And she had a USA basketball shirt on. And normally I believe it when some of these people wear these USA basketball shirts or whatever gear, a backpack or shorts or shoes. I believe it. And I didn't think anything of it. It's like, okay, cool. Like that's pretty dope. Like someone lives in my apartment complex that plays for or has been good enough to be on the USA level of whatever they are, whether it was college, professional, whatever it is. I guess there's only one USA basketball team, but you know what I'm saying here. Sometimes there's a high school, collegiate league, whatever. And so then I'm leaving the gym and she's walking out of the weight room as well, but she had some cord that got stuck in the door. I pointed at it and then I held the elevator. I'm a good neighbor. I'm a good neighbor. So I held the elevator. She got in and the first question she asked me was, "Do you play tennis?" Now I mean no disrespect to any of my brothers that play tennis. But I look like I play tennis? Bro, tennis? Look at me. Look at me. I'm tall. What should you assume? And look, I know there's some tall tennis players, yada, yada. But what do I look like? And that's what really got to me. Like I'm good with some usual racism. I like a good voice impersonation. I like a little 7-Eleven impersonation, maybe some terrorist jokes. How about that? Curry jokes. It's hard to make good Indian jokes nowadays because of how dope the brown people have become and how normalized everything is. Curries are worldwide. Look at Coachella. You guys are dressing like us now. We are luxury. We are greatness now. But I don't mind some racism here and there. It keeps you balanced. You need a little bit of racism. And never, ever have I been accused. Never, ever has anyone been so racist to ask me if I play tennis. And I was like, nah, I don't play tennis. And I called it out. I was like, damn, is the stereotype that strong? Like, are all Indian people just falling so short from any other major league, whether it be football, basketball? Why is this goddamn dryer running? Give me 2 seconds. Whether you didn't make it to basketball, football, hockey, whatever other major league sport, you know what I'm talking about? Like the sports that get clout. Never ever has anyone asked me if I play tennis. And then I told her, I was like, nah, like I actually play my poison of choice is basketball. And she said, oh, my bad. I saw the shorts and I was like, yo, hold up. Like, do I dress like a tennis player? My shorts are relatively shorter than normal, right? I used to be the 10-inch inseam basketball shorts flowing through the wind. And then I got to California and I saw no one else wears that. No one else wears that. Everyone shows off their thighs. So I went from 7-inch to 7-inch inseams. Sorry, I went from 10 to 7-inch inseams. I tried 5. It was a little too short. I didn't want anyone seeing me at 5. That's a little hoo. You know what I'm saying? That's a little West Hollywood. And so then I'm wearing these 7-inch shorts, but I didn't think I was giving off the impression that I am a tennis player. And I said, no, basketball is the poison of my choice. And she said, okay, well, do you think you're good? And I said, yeah, I think I'm good. I think I am good. If I go out onto the basketball court, I think I could beat your average person. I have played quite a bit. I'm tall. I think I'm good. Obviously, I know my level, right? I know where I fall in the food chain. When I go out there onto a LA Fitness court or Equinox court or any other pickup game, I kind of know where I fall, right? I'm in the middle of the pack. I know there's people that are going to be more athletic than me, better shooters than me. They can pass, they can dribble, they have better endurance than me. I know all of this stuff, right? But at the same time, I know that there's a lot of people that shoot worse than me, that aren't going to be able to hang in there as long, that can't play better defense, that are 5'5". You see what I'm saying? I know where I fall in the pack. And so then I told her, I said, nah, like I do play, I think I'm good. And she said, yeah, I get it. And I was like, but like relatively good. And she said, yeah, I guess everyone thinks they're good. Now we're slowly getting to my floor. She said, Do you think you could beat me? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight off the bat. I said, yes. I said, you goddamn right. Who do you think you are? Just because you wearing a USA basketball shirt? No, I didn't say all that, right? I said, yeah, I think I could beat you. I'm stepping out the elevator. She said, nah, you can't beat me. And I said, all right, well, I guess we'll see. And as I'm walking back to my apartment, I said, damn, bro, like, did that come off as super sexist? You know, did that come off as like a super, just masculine, just anti-female sport thing that, you know, like, am I about to get canceled? But then I thought about it and I said, you know what? Whether you're a guy or girl, whether you're big, fat, small, skinny, tall, short, gay, straight, I'm going to tell you I can beat you in basketball. It's one thing to know, right? Obviously, I know in my head what the possibility, what the outcome probably will be. But never, ever, as anyone that has ever played basketball, never, ever will you ever say, oh, yeah, I think you could beat me one-on-one. Oh, that's being too prideful. You goddamn right. That's just the way it is. And then it's now just sitting in my head where I'm like, damn, could I? Could I beat her? Because then, damn, you know, like, is that embarrassing? Is she supposed to beat me? Has she dedicated her life to this thing that she should be at the point where she could beat me? But at the same time, damn, bro, you never want to lose a one-on-one. That's got to be that, you know, like that's where you got to just call it. So y'all let me know. For anybody that's played basketball in their life, you tell me, have you ever told someone like, yeah, you know, like I think you could beat me? Or it doesn't even have to be basketball, right? Anything that you've dedicated a handful of days, hours, years to in your life. Maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's goddamn cleaning, you know? People have their pride. People are never going to back down and say like, oh yeah, you know, like you're just straight up better than me. You got to find out. And you got to find out. And that's how champions are built. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 73 of the Ajay Patel Show. We are back in the old office. I finally cleaned it up and I thought, you know what? We've been switching it around a lot. It's time to get back to a sense of normalcy. I brought it back in the kitchen and I thought, man, this is where it started. And we're moving out of this apartment soon. I thought, you know, like, let me just get one more recording in here. I might be missing a couple weeks coming up. It just is what it is. I apologize. I'll try to be on top of it. We got some guests coming up. I'm trying to get some more guests. But with that being said, how are you? How are you doing? When are you listening to this? Are you on your way to work? Are you coming back from work? Are you just doing some chores? You know what I'm saying? How are you doing? We're almost done with summer. July's coming to an end. August is always a wash. Back to school shopping, back to school sales, you know, people tax-free weekend. Oh shit, I got to find a new place to live. I got to move. But how are you mentally? You know what I'm saying? For my brothers and sisters that are about to turn 30 or that just, you know, turn that corner at 30, how are you doing? I'm over here, you know, expecting a child now. I try not to think about it too much. Isha's been out of town. It's been really easy to kind of just ignore that fact. But I'm all right mentally. But, boy, we have a good docket for you guys today. And we're starting off with the LA Fire Relief Fund. So today we're going to talk about the LA Fire Relief Fund, this new app called T, and some of the stuff that's kind of stemmed off of it and what's happening around there. And then we'll close with this backlash that has come about our good friend, Sydney Sweeney. So starting with the LA Fire Relief Fund, what happened here? Ladies and gentlemen, we have an absolute duplicate situation. We have history repeating itself when it comes to these relief funds. So what happened is this started with this, obviously the fires in LA, right? We talked about a little bit on the show, the fires that ran through a lot of the Palisades, a lot of other neighborhoods, Palisades being probably the most notable. Celebrities had their houses burned down. A lot of people that just kind of grandfathered into that area got their houses burned down. A very devastating thing that happened, especially if you don't have like fire insurance and all that stuff. So you expect like this relief to come from the sky. And there was this grand event. I can't remember if it was held at Crypto Arena or anywhere else, but there was this big event with all these celebrities and influencers and all this stuff. And it was to raise money for the victims of all the wildfires. And so you got all these clips of these people, right? You got Samuel L. Jackson. You got a whole bunch of other actors, songwriters, all that stuff up there saying, hey, you should donate to this link and we're going to make a difference. Now, I've already told you how I feel about charities, how I feel about these relief funds. Anywhere where I send money and then they have control of it, I never liked that situation. Remember, I told you I wanted to be someone that's a little bit more hands-on. I want to go help actually volunteer. Did I do that? I did not. Shame on me. I get it. Shame on me. I get it. But you have these funds that personally, I'm not a big fan of. But for something like this, you kind of got to start believing it. Where it's like, oh shit, they got this whole event here. They have all these celebrities back in this thing. They have probably the city of LA behind it. Probably this will come as a positive outcome. Now what's happening is there's this actor. I can't actually remember exactly who he is. His name is Spencer Pratt. And he's been going down this rabbit hole of what's actually been happening with the money. Spencer Pratt's someone that was actually affected by the fires. And I assume that these people that have been affected by the fires created a community to understand, like, okay, what should we do now? How can we get any type of relief funds? Have you received anything? Because I haven't received anything. Okay, are you going to file a petition? Because, we have to start coordinating this. So you have this community of people that were all affected by this stuff. Because you would expect, if you're expecting some type of relief fund and you ask your friend, Bob, hey, Bob, have you received anything from the government? He says, yeah, I just got a check for X amount of dollars. Then in your head, you're expecting, okay, I should be getting some type of thing soon. However they contact you. Obviously, they can't, mail you anything because your mailbox is burned to the ground. But you know what I'm saying. And so then what's happened is, obviously, the internet takes over from there. They start investigating things to peeling off each layer. And to come to find out, this big LA Fire Relief Fund isn't actually a company or nonprofit that can make a difference, right? They can't actually take the money and give that to people in the community because of whatever rule, law that they can't, they just can't do it. So then what the structure of the business becomes, and ignore my nomenclature as far as like business, nonprofit, whatever it is. This business, this LA Fire Relief Fund, let's call it the big part of the tree. This trickles down to a smaller part, which is all of the nonprofits that it sends this money to. So if this LA Fire Relief Fund raised $10 million, it's slowly distributing a percentage of that $10 million to all of these nonprofits on this massive list that LA shows on some type of website. So then you throw maybe $100,000 into food for families, another $100 and $100,000 into some other organization, maybe something for kids. Maybe something for women, maybe something for men. You know what I'm saying? All of these different nonprofits. The issue becomes is there's so many nonprofits out there. And my money is on the fact that they have not been vetted. No one has ever checked what they do. No one has ever seen their actions in person. People can't put an actual value to who they are. Oh, I know Make-A-Wish does X, Y, and Z. Therefore, I think it is good to give them money. So then you have all these nonprofits sitting on all this money that was raised by, LA and beyond. But the people still haven't received anything. So then the conspiracy goes one layer further, where it's like, all right, well, now these nonprofits have the money. What are they doing with it? If it's not going to the people, then more than likely someone's pocketing it. And so when I first came across this story, it was just a matter of, I am so shocked. Wow. They are taking money from the general public and keeping it for themselves. I am so shocked. But in reality, we've seen this movie before, bro. We saw the whole BLM movement. We saw a bunch of other nonprofits and organizations that collect money come up and go afterwards, and no one receives a dime. We've seen these scams left and right. My biggest issue is that it's one thing when, let's say, an individual creates a BLM nonprofit and it catches fire on social media, right? People start sharing it on their stories. Boom, 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 boom. Slowly, this money is raised. And you got this one person that's a con artist, and he takes all this money and goes, he or she. But when you got something at the level of like the state government, in which they are sponsoring and they're pushing out to the general public, right? If I'm a celebrity, I would have trust in that, right? I would have trust that, okay, you know, like, I don't fully trust the government, but at the same time, they're probably the best people to give this money to because they'll give it to these people, which is also a little delusional. I get it. But this is what I'm talking about, in which you have Gavin Newsom going back and forth with this dude, Spencer Pratt, defending the stance of California, in which, oh yeah, you know, well, actually we have been giving people, we've been doing this. And no one can testify to it. No one can testify to the fact that they have received some type of relief based on the disaster. And so then the grand question, which is still revolving in the atmosphere, is where the hell is the money? And then you just, you know, your eyes just fully open at that point. And you understand they've done it again. They've done it again, bro. I'm not the biggest on conspiracies. And you know, obviously y'all know my nationalism. But at the same time, this is also why I've been okay with kind of the rambunctious part of this administration that a lot of people don't like, right? The whole firing of all these organizations and downsizing this and these people losing their jobs and these people getting gaslit. Because there's just so much fraud everywhere, bro. Everywhere, no matter what department, right? Inside the government, outside the government, inside your local, you know, council people. It's just everywhere. And so then I don't believe in crucifying the one individual that ran the scam, because look, the government's going to do it to you. So why don't you beat them to the race? You see a natural disaster, go ahead. Why not? You might make $1 million by just creating a link for people to donate money. It's sickening, right? It's absolutely horrible. But this just kind of almost like reinforces my idea of you can never trust these fools. Unless you are putting the dollar amount in front of you. Okay, I'm going to go buy this fucking bread and then hand it to the person. Okay, that person was affected. They are now fed. Cool. Okay, I have these clothes. Bro, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. As we've been moving out, we had all these clothes that put in donation bags. We took it to Goodwill. I took it to Goodwill. And I say, hey, you know, like, where's the drop-off counter? I've done this routine before. Where's the drop-off counter so I can just hand it to you guys? They normally give you a receipt, so then you can write down what you gave, and then you can write that off on your taxes. Yes, a little loophole. Y'all should know this. If you donate items, you can write it off on your taxes. And this lady said the donation window doesn't open till 10 a.m. You take these fucking clothes. Does it look like I care about these clothes? At some point, I was like, should I just throw them away? As I'm walking to my car, I saw the trash can. I said, what difference does it make to me? Do I think that these clothes that I donate get put to some type of good use? I have no clue. Nor do I care to follow up. I just don't care. I don't have the time to care. And if I find out that, oh shit, well, they just ended up burning it. Or the person that owns the store just took everything valuable and then just put everything else on hangers, I wouldn't be shocked. And it's the same nonsense with this fire relief fund stuff. And so, like, if you guys haven't kept up with this, check out Spencer Pratt's TikToks. He's been kind of on it. And you know, you feel for the guy, because there's so much rage of when, like, literally the government is coming for an individual, saying this person is lying, this person is, you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's crazy. But we're in this time where there's so much transparency The local person knows how to go online and see receipts of whatever nonprofit organization. Okay, a nonprofit has to give money and then they have to submit X, Y, and Z. So now the person, the regular individual like myself at home can go online and see, okay, where did that nonprofit donate to? How did they write off this money? And then you can just go one step further. Okay, now you call that organization, you call that person, and you say, hey, did you receive any money from this? No? All right, we have a problem. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. But like I said, y'all check out the news. And with that being said, we get to our next story. Our next story. I was playing Fortnite with the boys. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Isha hasn't been here, so I've been indulging in some late night video game sessions, waking up groggy, going to work, chugging some coffee. But you know what I'm saying? I've been living the 2009 life, the Modern Warfare 2 life. You know what I'm saying? The Rust at midnight. And we're playing Fortnite. We're dropping in, and my boy Narain's on the other end, and he's saying, have you guys heard about this new app called T? Now, on this app, T, and for those that don't know, T is now used as a very, as a slang term for gossip. Gossip being, ooh, hey, do you know that this girl's up to this? This boy's up to this. Oh, this is some stuff that you didn't know about this person. That's T. Ask my boy Jay Street Thomas. She loves tea, bro. Actually, on top of that, fucking my friend Jaisal. Oh my gosh. Once upon a time, Jaisal said, hey, she doesn't want to, I don't actually want any birthday gifts, but everyone bring their hottest piece of tea to me. That's tea. Tea is that word. As long as everyone understands that, we can move on with the story. There's this new app called T. He's telling me, yeah, you know what? This thing is going to be the next biggest app. This thing's going to be huge. And now the premise of this app is ladies only, a ladies only app in which you submit your driver's license. So you show this proof of identity that you are a lady. And then as you go on dates in whatever neighborhood you are in, you can submit tea. You can submit tea about the individual you went on a date with to flag, hey, these are some red flags. So you can bring up any red flags you find on your date. Hey, this guy, did this, and, you just want to share this information. A good concept. Honestly, a good concept and a little bit safe, but obviously it's not going to be used for, like the baseline of things. Hey, this dude hit me. Hey, this dude tried to do this. This dude tried to do this, right? It's going to be used for some of the smaller shit. Hey, yeah, this dude's breath stank. Hey, yeah, this man has small feet. Oh, yeah, he tried to split the dinner. And it's going to turn into this fucking massive thing, right? That was my first impression where it's just like, no, this should not exist. This should not exist. There should be a layer of protection in which, ladies don't end up on these shit dates. But at the same time, I don't want it to just be this fucking shitting on dude fest, right? You end up with these dudes that had nothing to do with, like one bad time with this person that could have been the problem. You end up with a horrible reputation online. And this is going to become a thing, right? Hey, before you go on a date, when you find someone on Hinge or Tinder, whatever it may be, you can now go look at their, the tea on them. And how horrible. Kind of good, kind of entertaining. Don't get me wrong. It'd be fun to have like that as like a Hinge thing that you could pay for and upgrade to. Is that a good idea? Oh shit, I should contact Hinge. Anyways, so you have this app called T. And it sounded very familiar to this Facebook, Instagram thing that people used to people used to run these Finstas and post pictures of dudes in college and be like, yada, yada, yada. He's a piece of shit. He can't do this. He did this, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was featured once. A friend brought it up to me. My friend Sangeeta brought it up to, hey, can you believe, this person posted this about you? I said, oh my gosh, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe on that shit. Because there's no such thing as bad media. There's a bad thing as false media. There's never such a bad thing as bad media. And so I was a fan. But obviously at this point in life, oh my gosh. If I was dating at the age of 30 and the lady I went on a date with went out and wrote some tea on me, it's just like, how old are we, bro? oh, we're 30 years old. We're some fucking grown-ups, bro. And so then my reaction to Rain was just like, man, I don't know how they're going to be able to like keep this app alive. I think the biggest issue with a lot of these new applications is they don't realize how much money it takes to stay afloat. You know, how do I get all these people to code this, to protect this, now I got to hire this. Oh, now I need an office space. You know, there goes more money out of the pocket. And so it goes from the simple app, which was probably maybe, you know, a good idea at its core, to this massive machine that now needs people. You got to hire these people. You got to do this. And that's how it grows, right? You end up charging a little subscription service. Let's sprinkle some money on this. And then you have the potential to turn into $1 million app, $1 billion app. But then what ended up happening? They had a security breach.
Anyone who's ever used the T app just got their identity exposed. Hackers leaked over 72,000 images, including photo IDs. And someone even made an interactive map of where all of the users were. To even call it a hack is giving people a bit too much credit because it was really due to poor programming. They used no security measures whatsoever, and anyone could have found this information pretty easily. Unfortunately for any woman who used the app, their information is now out in the public forever. The T app was recently the #1 app in the App Store, but after this whole debacle, they might be getting sued into oblivion.
Now, this has been my favorite. This has been my favorite new TikTok thing. To keep going down and seeing like, ooh, what are they posting about now? Ooh, what's happened now with this thing? What is the T on the T? And so what this TikTok basically was, they had a security breach. Now, all those people that remember you had to submit a photo of your driver's license online. All that stuff is leaked. All that stuff is out there. You can see a whole map of people because of poor security. And obviously when you're someone signing up for this app and you're down to submit T on a dude or you want T on a guy, you're going to submit that picture in a heartbeat. Who cares? Who cares if they have my photo ID? Everyone has that shit nowadays. And it's a whole different tangent where we talk about how much do we actually care about our data. So we're not going down there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, just like this app that was #1 in the App Store probably had the potential to be $1 million app. Next thing you know, plummets like this. And I really want to know what's been happening now. Because, like I said, my favorite thing has become the T on TikTok. I got dudes putting on wigs, taking a picture, and then getting submitted. And then getting approved and saying, like, hey, you know, like, just comment your name and I'll find you on here. And, yo, this shit is awesome. It's a good time. Check it out. Now, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the lady. I've never liked the concept of, you know, shitting on dudes. As a dude, I understand. Ladies, that you want to be given a heads up about a lot of the weird shit out there. Whether the dude's apartment's a mess, whether the dude is racist. You want to know these things. Did he lie about his height? Is he actually a little bit bigger? Does he have any money? I get it. I would want to know that stuff too. So then what happens is the guys create their own. I'm actually not going to do another TikTok, but I'm just going to read it off to you. The fellas created an app called Box Score. Now, obviously, let me not be a little sexist in there. There is an app called Box Score now. Introducing Box Score, a man-only app where users anonymously share info and warnings about women to spot red flags and get feedback. So now you got T in Box Score. Now, first of all, Box Score is foul, bro. Whoever named this shit, it's funny. It is funny. Is it foul? Yes. But is it funny? Also, yes. So if you are dating right now, can you please download one of these? Whether it's Box Score or T, give them your data. It doesn't matter. No one's coming to get you. Who do you think you are? Just give them your data. Get some T on someone. Give some T on someone. And don't forget to share with me what you find out. A little bit about what I have going on. You know, the usual episode per week. We've been doing a little bit more shorts and stuff on YouTube and trying to get some stuff on Instagram. I'm talking to some fella from India so I can stop doing all this stuff while trying to balance work and just life, you know. It is laziness. I get it. But we're packing it up. We're packing it up. Eventually, you know, I'll have a little reveal of where we're at. Maybe we'll set up a new studio at our new location. But it's been real at this apartment. I've loved this box in the sky. There's a small town in Alabama in which the white people have turned into a white-only town. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have white people returning to their place of glory. Good. You might hear this story. You might see a TikTok on it, and you might think, oh my gosh, that's so racist. It's not racist. It's not racist. It's a little bit racist, but it's not racist. You know what I'm saying? Like the feathers and tars aren't there. Now, in Alabama, these group of dudes, I don't know whether it's stemmed off of a church or, you know, whatever group, they've created this town, which is said to be white only. Now, we got a lot of jokes, right? What's the crime rate? Oh, is there anyone a shooter? Who's going to shoot up the schools? What sports do you watch? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, but there's a white only town. Now, my initial reaction was, damn, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. There's no way that they're able to do that in this, you know, climate. But at the same time, I thought, you know what? Good for you. Good for you. They found a way to make it legal. There's a couple of loopholes to say like, oh, you know, like this isn't an official state or city or whatever it is. They found whatever loopholes they needed to find to make it a whites only town. Where they're not segregating. They're not saying they're racist. They're not saying, oh, we hate this ethnicity, so therefore we created our own town. They just created their own little white town. Now, what's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand we're supposed to be the melting pot, but there should be pockets. There should be pockets within the United States in which you can find only your people. And if you want to live like that, why not? Why not? It's, you know, like the whole counter, you know, it defeats the whole purpose of this whole America thing, you know? But why not? If you've ever seen a mosque get built nearby your house and you see a bunch of houses pop up, who do you think is moving into those houses, bro? You think when all the Mohammeds move in and then all of a sudden Bob moves in, they're not looking at Bob sideways? This is just a known thing. People have an inclination of wanting to be around like-raced people. I'm sure there's a large segment of people out there that are, you know, like, no, I want a white person around me, a black person around me, this person around me. Stop. You know good and damn well. You know your parents' perspective, right? They've came here for a good reason, all that stuff, yada, yada. But if you told them, hey, there was this Indians only town. Have you heard of Las Colinas? Yeah, everywhere you go, it's just Indian. Oh, you know, it's not a bad idea. I might go there. The food must be really good. The customer service, you know, I feel like I'm in my hometown. Everyone's speaking this language. I feel like I'm at home, but I'm still in America. I still have the freedoms and all this stuff that I get with America, but I still have my peoples. And why aren't white people allowed to do the same thing? Look, we've look, they were wilding out, right? We can agree they were wilding out for a while. With the whole all the racism stuff, the whole slaves thing, they got a lot of things wrong. But we got here somehow. There was no pretty way of getting to where we're at now. And this is just what it is. And now I feel like there's just this overcorrection of whiteness. Everyone just got to start apologizing. Every white person is just apologizing left and right. Oh my gosh, you know, if only I could go through that hardship. No, you don't wish that. You do not wish that. And some of these people still using some of this hardship as if they were part of it. Right? I don't complain about the caste system because I was never in the caste system. It doesn't matter to me. The only thing I'm mad about is being called a fucking tennis player. So if whites want to have their own town, I don't see why not. This overcorrection of whiteness has to come back now. And right on the heels of that, you got people mad at Sydney Sweeney. So I first came across this. I was watching. Look, I wasn't being nasty, but I saw Sydney Sweeney in this American Eagle ad, and I thought, okay, yeah, I get it. She's attractive. right? I get it. She's attractive. She has assets. You know what I'm saying? She has assets. But American Eagle? You know what I'm saying? American Eagle was the brand I used to wear in middle school. It trickled in high school. I'm not going to lie. I had a couple button downs I went out in college. American Eagle was that brand. I haven't stepped foot in American Eagle in who knows how long. But American Eagle to me was always that brand that had maybe the small time famous person, whether it was a singer, an actor, no matter what it was a small time. Sydney Sweeney does stuff for fucking Prada and luxury brands now. I just don't get it, right? Like, I always remember American Eagle as being these little teeny boppers. You know what I'm saying? It used to just speak to that. Now you got this grown woman wearing these jeans, and okay, cool. You know, like, I get it. You'll sell it. You probably have a mass following of teenage fans. And so then they'll buy it. Okay, it makes sense to me. So when I saw that, I moved past it, right? Okay, cool, whatever. I guess celebrities are now stepping into this space where you'll have the American Eagles, the Hollisters, the Abercrombie and Fitch now start having bigger names to their brand because they can probably spend the money behind it. And they're realizing, oh, okay, you know, Sydney Sweeney, we get it. People like her won't buy these products. But she has this mass following of this average age. Therefore, we should target this person. I get it. Makes sense. It's a good business deal. I would be in the meeting. I'd be applauding it. Now, the backlash I saw came from the rhetoric behind it. So basically, the tagline is Sydney Sweeney has good genes. Jeans, playing off of Genes. I thought, okay, that's a good ad, right? I get it. She has good genes. She has good jeans, right? You know what I'm saying? The denim jeans and then the asset jeans. She has good jeans. But now what the internet has turned it into is this thing that she's being racist. People are typing American Eagle with 3 Ks in it. And I don't understand this stuff anymore, man. And look, there's this whole, like, there's this, obviously there's a short form with like the banner over it. And then there's this like short video clip that they're probably putting on other forums in which, you know, the camera's panning through her wearing this whole denim fit. Look, I went down the rabbit hole, not because yada, yada, but because I was researching this for y'all. And then she's talking about some people are tall, short, this and that. The eye colors are based off of this and mine are blue. My jeans are blue, right? Another good wordplay. Like Sydney Sweeney, whoever wrote this ad in the American Eagle team should be a rapper. Because, bro, jeans, and then blue eyes and blue. The bar has been set low, right? We heard the Carter 6 things have gotten adjusted where I think Sydney Sweeney's a good rapper now. But you see what I'm saying? It's a good ad. You would push it forward. But then there's just this undertone of this unapologetic white America to say, oh, that's racist. That's mean. You're saying you have good genes and that means all these other non-white people have bad genes? That's racist. We're not going to shop at American Eagle. Sydney Sweeney is a joke. What? What are we talking about, bro? If I told you Sydney Sweeney has good genes, you'd be like, yeah, you know, she probably does. If I told you LeBron has good genes, the motherfucker's 300 pounds, the most athletic basketball player we've seen in all our time, longevity and explosiveness, we're not going to glaze too much, but you know what I'm saying. Or you look at a certain person, you say, that person has good genes. That girl that challenged me to basketball in the elevator probably had good genes. She could probably lift more than me. But you know where her genes failed her? Height. My height will probably destroy her ass. You see what I'm saying? Genes are genes. Who the fuck cares if it's Sydney Sweeney saying it? And ladies and gentlemen, that is why I need white people to start being good again. Just be proud of yourself. You didn't do anything wrong. You were just born. And then you get, then you just get all this shit. Oh my gosh, look at what your ancestors did. Bro, I'm sorry. I didn't talk to them. They were born 100 years before me. be white and be great, but just be a little bit humble. You can have your own town. You can have your own genes. You can brag about your genes, whether you have blue eyes, green eyes. Brown people are jealous. Brown people have all gone through this phase of having a friend in elementary school or middle school in which we met you and we saw, damn, bro, you got blue eyes. You got green eyes. You have hazel eyes. What color are your eyes? Oh, my eyes are black. Oh, you can't have black eyes, actually. They're just probably dark brown. No, I'm pretty sure they're black. We've all gone through this phase of admiring someone's blue eyes. And 20 years later, you have this ad in which someone's bragging about their blue eyes. It makes sense. I love it. I don't mind it. But don't ever think I'm a tennis player. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll see you guys next week. I hope you have an amazing week. Don't forget, keep doing that shit. Keep doing that shit. And summer is almost over. Summer's almost over. So just walk around with your shirt off. Keep your shirt off as much as you can, because soon enough, that shit's going to be over. And then you're going to start putting on that winter weight. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next week, and goodbye.